Hey everybody, JJ here again. We're back for another episode of Flipside Up with JJ. Today we're going to be talking to one of my good friends, a Southern California investor, Ivan Avila, with West Coast Property Partners. How you doing, Ivan?
I'm doing good, JJ. Thanks for having me.
I am so glad to have you here. I really am. So for those of the audience that don't know you, tell us about yourself and your involvement with Mastery, how long you've been in. Tell us your story.
Yeah, well, I started Mastery back in 2015. So I'm one of those rare people that, started a while back. And the way I got in was actually through my family. It's an actually interesting story, the way we found out about Fortune Builders. My mom, Jenny Acosta, she's the one that started the whole real estate thing. And, and I got to give credit where it's due. Everything I know is because of that woman.
Yo to mom.
So, she's definitely my number one mentor, but it all started with her. We were from Chicago. We're not from LA. We moved here about 5 years ago now. I came here for college, had nothing to do with real estate. Back in Chicago, my family owned restaurants. It was restaurant business, and my mom had a payroll company as well. So my parents sold the restaurant over there, came over here. We're not doing anything here, so the realtor that helped my mother, get our first house here in LA was in Burbank. He told my mom, hey, why don't you try real estate? Get your license, see if that, works out, if you like it. So she's like, all right, I'll get my license. So she got her license. This was back in 2015. So one day, she's in her room. She can't find the remote, so she ends up sitting down. She sits on the remote, and the channel changes, and it changes to an ad with Than Merrill on it. And he's talking about real estate investing, how the process can work here in LA or any city. And she was like, oh, that's, it sounds interesting. I'm going to go check it out. She went to go check it out. Next thing you know the process, the full immersion, that sort of thing. So she went to, I think I actually went to the full immersion with her. And I remember we went, and it was a small group, and we went to tour a couple houses, and it was cool. It was actually the first time I ever found out about real estate investing, rehabs, all that kind of thing. So that's where it all started. I was still in college. I didn't get involved too much. But first house we ever flipped was the house we bought in Burbank.
Great.
So it was actually a new construction. We did it in mind for our family to move in there, but we ended up selling it. We ended up selling it as a flip. So that was our first official project. But we didn't get into Mastery until halfway through the project. So when we did, we realized there were so many mistakes, so many errors we made, which is, highlights the importance of having a coach and having coaching. Education too, yeah. I mean, we made a lot of mistakes. So that's where it all started. And then I got out of college, finished college in 2016. Wasn't really doing anything. I was working retail jobs. I worked at a movie theater. In terms of investment company, I helped out here and there. Maybe I'd jump on the MLS, look for a property, maybe help with marketing, but I really wouldn't be doing much. Not until I got my license, and that was in 2017 in December.
Great.
After I got my license, that's when I went 100% in. And ever since then, just kept the ball rolling. We're here now 2 years later, many developments under our belt, anything from cosmetic to new construction. We're going out of state as well. So, that's, in short, that's the story of how we got started.
Now, have you always been West Coast Property Partners from the beginning, or did you change the name of your LLC along the way?
Yeah, it wasn't always West Coast Property Partners. In the beginning, we were actually Acosta Property Investments, which is my mom's last name. And Acosta Property Investments, that was the name of our investment company, right? So where we got investors. And then when we went out there, we put our marketing stuff. We were known as AG Homes. We ended up changing our name because we ended up going out and getting coaching for our company. So business coaching, marketing coaching, real estate, of course. And after getting all these coaching sessions, going through the marketing guys, they advised that, we should change our name to something that represents better like where we are and what we do. So for example, West Coast, because we're here in the West Coast in LA. Property, we are in property, and partners, it's because we're all partners, it's a partnership. And that's our message to the people, right? To people who want to invest with us, West Coast Property Partner. It's not anything accidental, right? Where we just decided, you know what, West Coast, right? Everything, it's all strategic. And that's how we chose our name.
Now, in the time in which you've been in Mastery, the first property you did was before you got in. How many
Yeah.
have you done in the last few years?
And in the last 2 years, we've done 10 total properties. And, you know, the
That's
way I
here.
look at
That's
it,
in Southern California.
that's here in Southern
This
California.
is a tough market.
Yeah, you look at a market where we are here, right? And we've done, 10 deals. But all these 10 deals have been, very intricate deals. Some of these are new developments, some take longer, some are year-long projects. So, it's 10 deals. It may not sound like a lot, but in reality, these 10 deals, when you work it, when you're in there the whole time, make it feel like a lifetime,
You bet.
And especially with the last couple that we've had, new constructions, we definitely learned so much during that process. All along that process, we had mishaps. I highly doubt you're ever going to get a deal where everything goes perfectly and smooth. So everything that happened to us in these last 2 deals, man, all the things we've learned, we're so excited moving forward because there's so many things we can implement now, from the way that we do systems, the way we flip homes, to the way we buy. So I think that we have to go through the failures, we have to go through the hard times to really mold us into the company and the people we are now.
That's great. Now, I know that you've done a number of other things now, taking you to a higher level, some of your marketing aspects, some of your networking beyond mastery. But to stay in-house a little bit with our investment community, how important do you think networking is with your fellow mastery community? Is it you found that it's been a benefit to you, or certain people have really played a role in what you're doing or your growth and success?
Oh, absolutely, man. I think that's probably number one, dude, because when you really think about it, we are in a relationship business. Real estate's all about relationships, and it's not just about, I'm going to make relationships to get ahead, maybe, I get a discount, but that's really what makes the difference, man, because picture it this way, right? Let's say you make a relationship with a title guy, right? The title guy, he knows a lot of people, realtors, investors, buyers, sellers, he knows all these people. If you build a relationship with a title guy, a real relationship, a friendship, I mean, the possibilities are endless. You can get more deals that way. I mean, sure, what we said earlier, right? Cheaper, marketing, whatever it is. But the key there is the relationship, right? Relationships with everybody. So networking is very important, especially when you're starting out, because when you're starting out, you have nothing, right? Unless, maybe you come from a real estate background and your family did it. But most people come from nothing in real estate. So all you have is your hard work and yourself and your presence. So when you're starting out, it's highly imperative that you go out and you network, because that's how you're going to start building your relationships. That's how you're going to meet people. That's how you're going to raise capital. And not only that, that is how you're going to get your brand known. It's highly important to go out and network in the beginning. I mean, throughout your career, but especially in the beginning.
Sounds great. I want to just touch on something else. I know that we've known one another for a while, and we've become really good friends.
Sure.
And not only just in real estate, but to cheer on those Los Angeles Dodgers.
Right. That's right.
As I've seen you grow in the time that I've known you, I know one of the things you've done is you've created a podcast.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about that, the name of it, and how that came about, what you're doing with that?
Yeah, I mean, with the podcast, well, first and foremost, I think that if you are successful in your niche, in your industry, the great thing about being successful is it allows you to help other people. And so with what I want to do with the podcast is I just want to highlight real estate news and bring it to the public. So what I do, for example, in this podcast is every single day I'm going through to different sources, different places where I can find out what's new in the economy, what's going on in housing, where the rate's at, where's this at, right? What are other things outside of the housing market that can affect us as investors that we're doing? So I want to take all this data that I know, that I find out, and put it in a source where we can all know about it, right? Because, it might take a lot of time, especially with some people, right? Maybe they don't have the time to do certain things. Maybe they don't have the time to sit down and see, okay, where's the market at? Where's the economy at? So I want to be able to provide an easy source for that, and that's through the Investor Squad radio podcast. So right now it's news. So last week I did one episode. Next week I'm going to have another one towards the beginning of the week. And it's just all real estate news, what's going on in real estate, the economy. anything that can affect us and what we do as investors.
So how does somebody follow your podcast? Do you have a name of your podcast, or how does someone follow you? How can we let the market out there know about what you're doing so they can tune in and get informed by the information and content you're sharing?
The podcast is called Investor Squad Radio, and I just share, right now I just started it, so I'm sharing it across all of my social media. So if you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whenever I have a new episode, I'm just going to share it. But the platforms that it's on, right now it's Spotify, iTunes, Buzzsprout, which is the main host site. You can also go to buzzsprout.com and listen to it there.
Great.
So those are where the sources right now. But like I said, I'm always going to be sharing it on my socials whenever I have a new episode.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today, Ivan.
Thank you, JJ.
Oh gosh, I really appreciate the content and sharing, and I'm sure everybody's thrilled to learn about you. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about you, and I'm pleased to introduce you to the community. With that, I just want to thank everybody. We're running on time, so I'm just going to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for watching another episode of Flipside Up with JJ. We'll be back to share more content. My real estate attorney, title guy, and other local mastery students with some of their projects, and some other people I'd like you to meet. So with that, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.